Yeah, and all the comments. This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. It's a big fight week. Anthony Joshua's in town. The gaffer's here. He's suited up. We done a little Zoom yesterday. You're feeling the energy. I can tell by the little smirk on your face. I'm feeling the energy. Life's good.
Good. Life is good. I mean, you've got air in your lungs. We had a rough couple of days, but we move on. Great night of action on Saturday night. Unbelievable card. Off pay-per-view, which obviously everybody's happy about as well. And we move on. Big night for AJ. Must win, of course, and everyone wants to see him win in style. But as I said, great card, and I'm happy with where we are right now, and interested to do something with you behind the scenes. Is that what we do?
We're filming a behind-the-scenes press conference, sort of day in the life sort of thing. We've elevated to that level now.
I'm just there to literally be abused, isn't it? So we are filming some behind-the-scenes thing, and basically I'm just told, get in it. Like, Edward, would you like to be in this new behind-the-scenes boxing social documentary? Just right, go in, we're filming something, and you're going to basically be the entire star of the whole thing, be the entire reason that everyone's watching.
It'll be my face in the thumbnail, not yours.
We'll see.
Edward, what are we saying about this? A little bit continental. Do you like it?
I do actually, but not on you. Like, I think their shoes are awful, and you've got like cargo pants on. But that top is something that I would wear in the south of France or wherever we are. Yeah, but you're actually in central London, and I'm not sure it's for you, especially with a hat. Is it Bathing Ape, the hat?
Oh, Billionaire Boys Club.
Oh, is it? Okay. I was quite impressed with Bathing Ape to even pull that out of the bag.
Edward, Joshua-Helenius, we are a couple of days out. We believe Robert's here. He had to get a little ferry, I believe, then jump on a flight. That's what Frank tells me anyway. All systems are a go.
Yeah, it's a good story. No, what happened was he had to get a ferry, a dinghy, a helicopter, and swam the last bit. But no, he's here, and I'm pleased because when you've got 5 days to go, you've got to choose someone that's not going to mess you around, someone that is going to get on the ferry or plane and make sure they're here, because here to win. No excuses about not being fit. He's just boxed on Saturday. He's in great shape. He believes he can win. Last time there was a late replacement for a fighter that failed a drugs test. Didn't go too well. Ironically, that week all we talked about was the Deontay Wilder fight, and we seem to be doing it again this week. So stay switched on, get the business done on Saturday night, and then move on to the Wilder fight. And Malik Scott here to my right just told me that Wilder will knock AJ out in 3 rounds.
Saudi Arabian representatives are in town anyway. Derek Chisora's on the card, but as you told me yesterday, you want to get this signed ASAP. Is there a chance we could see this fight signed in the next couple of weeks? Yeah,
for sure. We're ready to sign that. We've been ready to sign that fight. Obviously, I don't know what Deontay's doing in terms of fighting beforehand, but we're ready. We've been given that date for January. We're ready to make the fight, and but we must come through Saturday. Everything's irrelevant unless we win Saturday.
Edward, I read something. I don't know how much you can say due to confidentiality. I don't know what this word is. It's supposedly the substance that Whyte tested positive for. I may put it up on the screen. Molidustat. I honestly
said that really well. Yeah. As you know, and as I've been put on notice by Dillian Whyte's lawyers, I cannot talk about the results of that test. Only that the information that we have published already. So. I don't represent Dillian Whyte. I wish him the best any way that we can support him. I don't know what to think, in all honesty, but he's got a big fight on his hands, and no comment from me on his personal information.
Edward, on the undercard, Derek Chisora against Gerald Washington. Derek's always good fun up on the press conference table. Him and Conor McGregor are the only 2 times I ever see you more slightly reserved. But good fun, good fight. Dempsey McKean-Hrgovic, final eliminator. Johnny Fisher on the bill. Spider-Man Brandon Scott. Maisie Rose Courtney. George Liddard. I should be a promoter. Campbell Hatton. Bush.
Mate, your ego's out of control. It's a great card. I mean, firstly, the younger generation. Brandon Scott, what an opportunity for him. Maisie Rose, 3-0. George Liddard, 3-0. 2 great young prospects. And Campbell Hatton in a real fight. Tom Ansell, who's boxed the English title level as well. That's a proper fight. He'll come to win. I love Johnny Fisher against Harry Armstrong. Harry Armstrong, this is a proper fight. Harry Armstrong has taken fights at short notice. He's had, 8 weeks. He's in great nick. He goes rounds. He can go the 10 rounds, no problem. Johnny Fisher, we're going to see. Now it gets real, and it's a proper heavyweight dust-up, that fight. Can't wait. I love Filip Hrgović against Dempsey McKean because it's an elite heavyweight matchup. The winner fights Alexander Usyk or Daniel Dubois. 2 unbeaten fighters. Hrgović, long time, people believe he's one of the best fighters in the world. But Dempsey's trained hard under Tony Sims and ready for a massive fight. And of course, Derek Chisora against Gerald Washington, a genuine 50-50 fight that both guys must win. Fantastic card, but best non-pay-per-view show we've ever done.
I would like to pick up, Frank Warren made some comments yesterday when speaking to Simon Jordan, and in Simon Jordan's interview he sort of said to you as well, look, I held Frank accountable about the Ngannou situation. You do roll your eyes. Frank Warren came out and said, well, he never had an offer from K2 and Alex Krasuk.
This is like, do you expect Alexander Usyk to make the offer? You're saying in the build-up, Frank Warren said, Usyk's not even that big. Who's Usyk? No one's ever heard of him. But now you're expecting him to make an offer for the fight. You make the offers. You go out and you get the site fees. You want 70% of the pie. You go out and make it happen. Do you think I've ever sat there with AJ going, well, we haven't had an offer? We haven't had an offer. No, we make the offers. We got the A side. You go out and you force the fight. If your fighter tells you, get me Usyk, I want to create a legacy, I want to be undisputed, you go and make the fight. Don't sit there waiting for an offer, because who gets offers from Alexander Usyk to fight? So you make the fight. He took the terms and you couldn't make it happen. You're better off just saying, Tyson wanted so much money for that fight, it wasn't achievable. So we moved on. It's not outrageous, but you wanted too much money, but that's the reason you couldn't make the fight. And you got good money to fight Ngannou, who's never boxed before, and you fancied it. Again, I don't criticise it, but there's no, well, we never received an offer. You're not going to get an offer from a 30% end of a fight to do the fight. You're the A side, so you tell everybody. Go out. You're the biggest star in the world, so you tell everyone. So go and get a site fee. Go and get this massive money that you can get for that fight and make the fight happen. We never received an offer. It's so weak.
I didn't pick up, I know we spoke about Robert Smith and Simon Jordan yesterday, I don't want to go too much into it. One thing that I actually didn't see, and this was while I was on the call with Frank, was that Simon then came out and said that Robert Smith had texted him and corrected him and said it was in fact on Saturday. The fact that Simon Jordan's coming out and saying that he's got this sort of a relationship where he's able to text the head of the British Boxing Board of Control and find out stuff, is that, I mean, what are your views on...
Firstly, he threw Robert Smith under a bus. Because, but this is what I'm saying. When that Dillian Whyte, this is what you're up against, right? And you tell me if this is an agenda or not. So that news breaks about Dillian Whyte. The first thing, one is I believe Simon Jordan would have a nice laugh to himself, right? And say, ha-ha, right? Which shows you the type of individual that some people are. Then, what he's done is, he's thought, I'm going to phone Robert Smith. I reckon Hearn might have got that information before he actually released it. I want to know when Hearn got that information. If you're not a member of the media, which you're saying you aren't, right, what are you even doing, worrying about that? Why are you then phoning the General Secretary of the British Boxing Board of Control to find out, to be able to stitch me up in an interview? So at the end of the day, one, you shouldn't be able to even speak to the British Boxing Board of Control General Secretary about a subject like this. And he threw Robert under a bus because he said, well, Robert was wrong then. And later on off camera, he said, actually, I got it wrong. So Robert Smith completely, not at fault here, other than, in my opinion, you shouldn't be speaking to people with an agenda, because then it looks like everybody's got an agenda. And I don't understand why we go into this thing with Talksport yesterday, and it's like, we're really still talking about Conor Benn, what happened a year and a half ago. We hold our hands up on many things that we did wrong. As a promoter and as a co-promoter going into the fight, and the board did as well. Isn't it time to move on? He boxed 18 months ago. He's been through the WBC process, reinstating the rankings. He's been through the UCAD process, suspension lifted, cleared to fight. What more do you want him to do? But the problem is, people like Simon Jordan and people within the industry niggling at the board, going, you got to do this. You can imagine Simon Jordan saying, Robert, you don't let that fucker off. And Frank's the same thing like yesterday. Like, you imagine a situation, Parsons. Frank has asked to come on, right, with 10 minutes to go, my show on Talksport, right, obviously piggybacking on massive numbers. Simon Jordan's gone, he can't come on here, we're talking about Conor Benn. I said, yeah, tell him to fuck off, he can come on in 5 minutes when I'm gone. That's how it went, right? But you know, and you don't have to say it, but you know that the entire office is tuned in to that interview to listen to me, to try and catch me out on something that I've said, so you can do an interview, or you imagine anyone in my office turning on Frank Warren, on Simon Jordan, to listen in. We don't worry about that. We're well above and beyond that. We worry about ourselves. But this is what we're up against, and this is what the board are up against. People within the industry saying things, making things up, phoning the board saying, you can't let him do that, you must appeal, you must do this. It's time. Conor Benn has done everything that's been asked of him. It's time to move on. And I hope the British Boxing Board of Control can acknowledge that. And it worries me that people like Simon Jordan have a direct line of communication to someone like Robert Smith to ask him confidential questions about Dillian Whyte. And he's not even my fighter. So that's my point.
Have the Adelaide, I was going to say Clark, Wardley purse bids happened?
No, there's been delayed. Dillian Whyte's team are speaking direct as well to Frank Warren about that fight. We've been in discussions as well about a purse bid. We'll see what happens. We were ready to bid today, and we were ready to bid yesterday for Opataya against Richard Riakporhe as well, and we won the bid for O'Shaki Foster against Rocky Hernandez. So that's the purse bid situation.
Is there a chance that at Wardley, Adelaide goes on TNT then, do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think if he gets the right offer, you know, again.
Do you encourage him to take it?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I would encourage him to go to purse because I know what we were going to bid for it. But at the same time, Fabio is represented by Dillian Whyte's team, and they're going to do what they want to do.
How is that relationship at the minute?
What, with myself?
With Dillian Whyte's team?
I mean,
the team.
Listen, we've had a great run. They've got the biggest fight on their hands that they've ever had in their career. And I'm disappointed, I'm surprised. I don't know what to think. But, you know, we wish Dillian the best. We'll support him in any way we can. And, you know, like I said, you know, they've got a lot of work to do.
Edward, finally from me, Devin, Haney and Regis Prograis have had some back and forth. Regis came out and said that he's trying to make the fight early. Haney came out and said, why are we fighting on the same day as Fury? The Fury fight's in Saudi, so it probably would be about 10, 11 hours ahead anyway.
Okay. So you don't really want to do, yeah, or not even a pay-per-view, just, you know, you don't want to do a big pay-per-view night against another show, another pay-per-view, whatever. So we're going through the dates. The bigger issue is the venue as well, but you know, you're talking 1-2 weeks.
MGM?
Yeah, Vegas, Atlanta, Washington, Bay Area, New York, all options for that fight. It's a tremendous fight, one of the best in boxing, and hopefully we can get it over the line.
Edward, thank you very much for your time and see you Friday.
I'll take that off now.